Have you ever felt like you were a zombie? If you've ever been stressed out, grieved, or worried about what might or has happened, worked overtime or multiple jobs every week, you know exactly what I mean. Eventually, your daily routine turns you into a zombie because you're on autopilot since you're constantly in motion, and it affects all your relationships. You even disconnect from yourself because you're just so exhausted. I'll talk more about this after the gospel. In today's reading, a meeting tent has been pitched outside their camp near Mount Sinai, where any of the Jewish people can consult with the Lord. When Moses approached the meeting tent, everyone stood watching from their own tents until Moses entered. Then a cloud column would descend and remain at the entrance while the Lord spoke to Moses face to face. Afterward, Moses would return to camp, but Joshua always remained in the tent. On this day, Moses stood there with the Lord and proclaimed his name, Lord. Here's what happened next. Thus the Lord passed before him and cried out, the Lord, a merciful and gracious God, slow to anger and rich in kindness and fidelity, continuing his kindness for 1,000 generations, and forgiving wickedness and crime and sin, yet not declaring the guilty guiltless, but punishing children and grandchildren to the 3rd and 4th generation for their father's wickedness. Moses at once bowed down to the ground in worship. Then he said, if I find favor with you, O Lord, do come along in our company. This is indeed a stiff-necked people, yet pardon our wickedness and sins, and receive us as your own. So Moses stayed there with the Lord for 40 days and 40 nights, without eating any food or drinking any water. And he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. Although we can't see God face to face today, we're all blessed with the ability to have an intimate relationship with the Lord and to meet with him anytime, anywhere. I know I don't listen for God or pray as often as I'd like. Let's make it a habit of focusing on God's passionate and compassionate love for us by recalling his blessings every morning, every night, and before, during, or after every meal. May his infinite love for us help us be attentive when he speaks to us through our surroundings, the people and events in our day. Remember, Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13 says, the fear of the Lord is actually fear of falling out of love with God and becoming alienated from him. With that in mind, here are a few verses from today's psalm. As far as the east is from the west, so far as he put our transgressions from us. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. The Lord is kind and merciful. In today's gospel, Jesus speaks to the disciples and explains the parable of the weeds in the field, which is the world. He also makes the distinction between his kingdom and the kingdom of the Lord our Father. Although Jesus is authority over the entire world, the church is where Jesus grows his kingdom. Remember, the Bible describes the church as the body of believers, not a building or an institution. Weeds can grow anywhere inside or outside the church. Now listen to the gospel. Jesus dismissed the crowds and went into the house. His disciples approached him and said, explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field. He said in reply, he who sows good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed, the children of the kingdom. The weeds are the children of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. Just as weeds are collected and burned up with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all who cause others to sin and all evildoers. They will throw them into the fiery furnace where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears ought to hear. If you're so overwhelmed that you feel like a zombie, spend some quiet time with God and ask him to help you feel his love. Focus on feeling the warmth of his love. Think of it as a tight spiritual hug, a hug that's so tight you have to catch your breath. Ask Jesus, the Prince of Peace, to help you receive his gift of peace that he's been trying to give you. Feel this love just overwhelm you with hope, peace, and clarity. Then you'll be able to ask, seek, and find not only him, but your destiny. He's trying to help you, but you need to be quiet and focused to hear him, especially when you're stressed out. At the end of time, Jesus tells us he will send his angels to rid the world of evildoers. I wonder what makes people choose evil. How and when did that ever seem like a good option? They were born a child of God, just like the rest of us, but I think that not only did they get lost, but they never even found themselves to begin with, their true selves. Someone in their lives convinced them that choosing good over evil was for naive fools. However, evil always leads to a life of loneliness. Without God's unconditional love to empower them, they never learn that they can really do what they and others believe is impossible. Because everything's possible with God. Today's gospel says God the Father's heavenly kingdom is everywhere. Meanwhile, by carefully nurturing and growing our relationship with God, the Father and Jesus, we deepen our faith and open our eyes to the world of all possibilities. Their world, their pure love transforms us into empowered men and women doing things we never thought we could. As a survivor of child sexual violence, for me, that meant forgiving my father and myself. As a result, God graciously eliminated post-traumatic stress disorder from my life forever. I still can't believe it. Always remember how God's love has blessed your life with loved ones, maybe even strangers who helped you when things seemed hopeless. Watch and listen for his guidance today and every day. Every morning and night, take a few minutes to reflect on your blessings, how you can learn from your successes as well as your mistakes, and be a better person. Live in his love now, and you'll find the peace beyond all understanding that Jesus talks about in the Gospels. I did. I hope you'll join me. God bless you. And be sure to take care of God's precious gift.